Good morning, second grade. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, and we are ready to start another week of distance learning. By now, your parents should have picked up a folder for each of you so that we could continue our work together with distance learning. And I'm going to start out this video today by showing you some of the things that you will find inside your folder and just explaining some of them a little bit. First of all, you will find your matrix again. So we are going to follow the same pattern where you will look on your matrix each day and you will have your must-dos for reading and math and then your may-dos. So you understand that by now. So I don't need to give much more explanation there. But I do want to make sure that you understand how important it is to keep watching my video, because I will always go through the reading and the math lessons on the video. So keep watching every day. You will find a packet that says my second grade distance learning reading packet. And this is just like that Lions at Lunchtime packet where I asked you to not work ahead. And you're going to do the same thing with this packet. Every day I will give a reading lesson and I will explain to you exactly what to do in your reading packet. So don't work ahead. Just do what Mrs. Mickelson asks you to do each day. So it's very important that you pay close attention to what I say on my video. Today, we will be reading a book together and you will get to do your first page in this distance learning packet. So I will explain that shortly. You will also find a memory book. And I just have the cover here, but it looks like this. And the memory book is something that I will explain in a couple weeks. I'm not going to talk about it this week yet. So just wait with that. Please don't do any work in the memory book yet. You might look at it and you think, oh, I'm going to want to fill out this page, but just wait until I explain it, please. So you can look through it, but just leave it for now. Put it back in your folder so that it stays nice and safe. You will also find some Scholastic News magazines, just like your last folder had. And there are activity pages tucked in the magazine. Again, don't do any work with them yet. Wait until it says on the matrix that it's a Scholastic News Day, and then I will guide you through it on my video. So keep everything in that folder and you'll have a good spot to keep it all together and keep it safe. So I'm going to put all of my things back in the folder right now because I want to keep all of those together as well. We enjoyed reading a chapter book for the last few weeks, but we're done reading chapter books for now. Instead, the reading lessons will focus more on just a different skill each day. So like I said before, be sure to watch my video. So some reading learning takes place in your brain every day. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a book that we are going to read together today. This is the book we're going to be reading together today. It is called Thinking About Ants. And you know, when we're in school, I use my big chart paper to give you some information about the book. We're going to pretend this is my big chart paper right here. And I wrote something similar to what you usually see me writing in school. The title of the book is Thinking About Ants. The genre is nonfiction. Now you remember what nonfiction means? It means this book is going to be full of facts. Our focus today will be looking for those nonfiction text features and how they help us as a reader. And we will look for some of those in the book. Here's what I want you to think before we start to read. What do you already know about ants? Maybe you even want to pause my video and think for a little bit of what you already know about ants. Just like when we used to fill out the KWL chart, and on the K column we would write the things that we know. And then I also want you to think about what questions you have. Think about the middle column in a KWL chart. The W, want to know. What do you want to know about ants? And I want you to know that this book is written in a special way. It's written in a way so that you pretend that you are an ant. and I will explain that a little bit more as we read. Let's look at the blurb on the back. How would it be to be an ant? How big would you be? What would you eat? Where would you live? Explore the answers to these questions and more in this book that is just crawling with ants. So we are ready to begin reading Thinking About Ants by Barbara Brenner and illustrated by Carol Schwartz. See the picture of the big ant? Now here's an idea for a little while. Think about ants. Begin by looking. Get up close to an ant. Study it. Try to put yourself in the ant's place. Think, how would it be to be an ant? So I want you to pretend that you are tiny, tiny like an ant. And think of how it would be as we read this book. It's a little bit hard to see this picture. Can you tell what that is? Can you tell that it's an apple? But it's a huge picture of an apple, because if you were a tiny ant, that's how huge an apple would look. Can you read with me? First of all, think small, because the largest ant in the world is only about the size of a person's thumb. And some ants are small enough to hide inside an apple seed. So think tiny. Now think a color. Do you know what color ants are? Black, blue, brown, red, yellowish, or greenish. An ant can be any of these colors. If you were an ant, what color would you want to be? Now remember I told you we would be talking about the special features in a nonfiction text? So far, the special features we have seen are some great pictures. Pictures are one feature that help us to understand a nonfiction text. Look closely at the picture. Read with me, please. Next, think about the body of an ant. Imagine it's outside, light and tough, and hard like a shell. Not soft like skin. Notice the ant's shape. A body with 3 parts, 6 legs instead of 2. So an ant has 3 body parts, 6 legs. Whoa, look at that picture. Look up close. The ant's face. Read with me, please. How would it be to have an ant face? 2 huge eyes, a mouth, a pair of scissor jaws to bite and tear with. No ears, no nose. Instead, 2 hairy feelers on your head to wave around like magic wands. They'd catch the smell of something in the air like... So your feelers catch the smell. Study the picture. They catch the smell of something in the air like food. What do ants eat? Read with me. Some eat meat, a snack of dead bug, a hunk of worm, a bite of lizard, or an ant will munch on a piece of hot dog left from someone's picnic lunch. Have you ever had ants come along when you've had a picnic? Maybe you can make a connection. Some ants eat seeds, some eat fruit. Others sip honeydew from tiny aphids. There are even ants that eat each other. Did you know that? Some ants bite. Some ants sting. Others squirt smelly acid when they're scared. If you were an ant, what would you be afraid of? Look closely at the picture. What do you think you would be afraid of if you were an ant? Make a prediction before I turn the page. A stomping foot, a hungry flicker, a spiny ant eater, heavy rain, bug spray, toads. But the scariest thing in an ant's life might be another ant that's an enemy. I'm going to try to show you both of these pages here if I can lift this up. Whoa. Where do ants live? In the dark? Inside a dead tree? Under a rock? So here is an example of how the pictures really help us understand a nonfiction story. You can see that these ants live inside a dead tree. And this picture shows us what is happening under a rock where the ants live. Do you see the tunnels they have built? Or maybe they live under the ground with a mound of dirt or sand to mark the spot. I bet you have seen an anthill above the ground. Look at everything happening underground. Does that picture put questions in your mind? An ant can live in a house. Have you ever had ants in your house? Between the cracks in the floor, or behind the kitchen cupboard door. Even the green stem of a plant can be home to an ant. Think about living in dark places, but imagine lots of company, sisters, brothers, a family, living and working together, because an ant can't live alone. Now, this is the page that I want you to pay close attention to. And you might be going back to this page when you are drawing your picture on your activity page today. So, we're going to look closely at these two pages. Let me read it for you first, and then we'll talk about it. You can read with me. In the ant nest, everyone has a job. What would you do if you were an ant? Would you hunt for food for everyone to share? Would you help to build the nest? Could you carry something twice as big as you? Wow, that's how strong ants are. Would you lick the ant eggs and feed the little larvae that hatch out? Would you help an ant come out from a cocoon? The ants that do these things are called worker ants. So now there's a special nonfiction text feature that I want to point out to you. And it's all these heavy words right here. And do you know what those are called? It starts with an L. They are called labels. So I want you to look closely at the labels. Here we have ants feeding one another. We have insects and seeds. Here we have ants removing dirt from the nest to build a new tunnel. This is a soldier ant. Their job is to guard the entrance. And if you look up here, that's an ant bringing food to the nest. Look closely at the labels here. These are workers that are tending the eggs. Here are workers building a new part of the nest. Here are workers tending half-grown larvae. And here's the larva that's hatching. Now, did you notice something special about this ant right in the middle? She is the, say that word, queen. And her job is to lay the eggs. So there's only one queen. So when you do your activity page today, there's going to be a place to draw a picture. And this is the picture that I want you to try to draw. So remember this place in the video. You'll probably be coming back to it later and pausing it and looking at these two pages to help you draw your picture. And you can look closely at the words and add some labels to your picture too. You'll probably draw the queen bigger than all of the worker ants. There are soldier ants too. They guard the nest. They stand at the entrance alert, swinging their feelers, picking up all strange shapes and smells. And if an invading army comes, they are fierce. Maybe that's why they call them soldiers. They tear their enemies to pieces with their sharp jaws. A soldier ant can bite a strange bug's head off. Would you want to be a soldier ant? Remember, you're thinking like an ant here. Now, think about the biggest ant in the nest. Do you remember what she's called? She's the queen. She's the mother of all the other ants. She's the only one who can lay eggs. All the other ants take care of her because she is the queen. Would you want that job if you were an ant? Keep reading with me. A queen ant may lay 100,000 eggs in her lifetime. One day she may lay an egg that will hatch into, what do you think will come next? Another queen. Like all queens, that ant will have wings. So there's something new you probably didn't know, that the queen ant has wings. Some damp afternoon, she'll fly away with a group of male ants. They'll mate with her, and soon after that, they will die. Then the queen will fly off alone to make a nest of her own. She will lose her wings and begin her work. There she is. These are all the things you can call her. Nest maker, egg layer, ant mother, and someday she will lay an egg that hatches out a queen. Then the whole cycle will begin again. That's how it would be to be an ant. Now I'm hoping you learned something from that story today. I'm going to talk to you about the follow-up activity that you will do in your distance learning reading packet. So go get this reading packet. Pause it if you need to go take time to go get it. And I look on the matrix for today, and it says that you are going to write 4 facts that you learned about ants on page 1. There it is, in your reading packet. I even have it numbered for you. And it says my topic. Topic means what did you read all about? So your topic is ants. you'll write a fact by each number. Remember, I want your facts to start with a capital letter and a period. You can go back and watch part of the story again to find the facts that you would like to write. You can pause as much as you need to. And then at the bottom, you have this great place to draw your picture. I'm going to remind you what I would like you to do for your picture. When I was reading the story, I pointed out to you the importance of page 22 to 23. So this might take you some time, but I know you'll do a really good job. I want you to find pages 22 and 23 and try in that box to draw what is happening underground as all these ants are working together. I want you to draw the ants as best as you can, and I want you to remember that nonfiction text feature of labels. Do you see all those words in heavy black print? I want you to put some labels in your picture. So do that at the bottom. Then, second grade, remember that each day for reading, or at least almost every day for reading, I have made a seesaw activity that you can go to add your response. So you will find the one that says Thinking About Ants, 5-5, and the directions are there that tell you to add to your journal and add this work that you just did on this page. So that is your reading for today. I hope you enjoyed that story. I found it very interesting. Now for math, it says that math will be completed on my YouTube video together as a class. So right now, I'm going to teach you a math game you can play with a family member today. In your folder, you have 2 pages that look like this. Okay, you have one with all these numbers and a page that looks like a tic-tac-toe board. So I'm going to show you how to use those 2 pages to play a game. So what you're going to do first is find a family member to play the game with you, and I would like you to cut apart the numbers so they will look like these. Okay, I'm going to try to get my camera up a little bit higher to make it a little bit easier to explain this to you. Okay, so you will need another person to play this game with you, and the goal is, it's kind of like tic-tac-toe. You know how tic-tac-toe is 3 in a row? The goal is to put 3 in a row, but you want to be the person who lays the number that makes 3 in a row add up to 15. I'm going to say that again. You will be the person, you want to be the person who puts down the number that makes 3 in a row add up to 15. And there's one rule. You cannot put the 5 in the middle. So, I have a partner to play this with me to demonstrate. Here it is. It's a little teddy bear. So teddy bear is going to go first, and teddy bear is going to pick up the 9 and put the 9 on the bottom. And I'm going to go next because it's my turn. I'm going to put the 7 in the middle. Now, let's see. 9 and 7, I already know is 16. So we won't be able to make 15 that way. Teddy bear is going to put the 6. Come on, teddy bear. There he is. He put the 6 right there next to the 7. Now I might be able to win this game. Remember, you want to make a total of 15. So I could start adding now and adding 6 and 7. I know that 6 and 7 is 13. So guess what? I see the 2 right here, and I will put the 2 right here. So I just made 3 numbers in a row that equal 15. So I would be the winner of that game. The game can go really fast. So we would take the numbers back off and then play the game again. So I'm going to remind you, you want to be the person who puts down the number that makes 3 in a row to add up to 15. Remember, you can, just like tic-tac-toe, you can go horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, like an X. So have fun playing that game with a member of your family. That's your math for today. There's no assignment that you need to do on paper. So enjoy that math game. And tomorrow we will do some more reading together and some more math. Have a wonderful Tuesday.